and the sky kept changing and the fog would keep coming up and down, and we got these most magical photos. But it wasn't actually about the photos. It was about creating art for two fellow creatives. I'm Joanne, this is Soulful Snap, where every Tuesday I bring you a moment of reflection, a glimpse behind the lens, and a little piece of my heart. The moment that moved me, 15th of December 2022, I had received a last minute message to photograph a lovely couple who were raising funds for multiple sclerosis. They had pre-COVID started a journey from the top of the north heading to the bottom of the South Island, tramping every little nook and cranny of New Zealand down our main alpine line. And I received this message from Mickey and Michelle, and we both we had to make it work. They were staying with Barrett and Methven. I only had one night where I could shoot them because they were playing their harp and violin music called Mickey and Michelle in a variety of locations throughout New Zealand, raising funds for their charity of choice. And I mean, the messages were amazing and everything, but the shoot itself was absolutely breathtaking. So we drove up the Mount Hutt access road, and then the fog comes in, and like this fog was horrific. It was like just like whiteout conditions. So I've got these two wee Aussies in my car. They're living in Melbourne, and they're just like, they're real try-hard trampers. But honestly, the fog was so thick. We were halfway up the access road to Mount Hutt. They had scouted this little wee location, and it turned out it was the same one I had in mind, just in a different wee place. And there's on the corner, there's all these big beams that are kind of used, I think, like for graders and like a car parking area and stuff. And so we pull in, we park there, and it's just white out. You couldn't even see these white posts in front of us. And then I brought some snacks with us and some tea and coffee. So we sat there, we had our tea and coffee, and then the clouds started to lift and the wind was coming in. It was like, ooh, we're about to go. And then like we'd come back in again. And like Michelle and I were like, look, this is just not gonna kind of work. You know, we're gonna have to pull the pin. And Michael's like, no, we're gonna wait. Like we were there on sunset, we waited, and it came in and it went away. And then all of a sudden it cleared and the fog like sunk in the valley. And we went out onto this ridge, and I will never ever forget the feeling of photographing Mickey and Michelle, listening to the sound of a harp and a violin just bounce off every crevasse, every space in the valley. It was the most beautiful, heartfelt moment. And the sky kept changing and the fog would keep coming up and down, and we got these most magical photos. But it wasn't actually about the photos. It was about creating art for two fellow creatives. Their passion, their enthusiasm for their craft and their cause like touched my heart in a way I never knew something could. Like I can still hear the sound of like Michelle playing the harp. We had Mount Hutt in the background, and just the moment, like she just breathed, and it was admiring a woman in a beautiful moment. And then like Michael, he went out on this little ridge area, and there's this fog below beneath him, and the hills all dark, and it was kind of like this feeling of this like Scottish Highland moment. It was kind of really cool. And it was just this moment in time where I went, you know what, I love creating art for other creatives because they trust the process, they don't give up, they trust and they embrace the moment. And our signature shot that they still use in their marketing collateral to this day is as the sun went right round to the south, it went down behind the mountain, and this glow that caught her beautiful red hair and created the silhouette glow around them is just amazing. And they're the most beautiful, wonderful souls. They send me beautiful gifts like a tea towel and samples of their album and everything, and I feel so blessed and so I don't know, just in love with my art form and telling a story for two wonderful people was just the most beautiful moment. And I mean, I truly will never ever forget that night up Mount Hutt access road. Like that will take some beating. That was just like, I felt incredible. I felt like I was on top of the world. I felt like I was the luckiest woman in the world to be spending time with these two beautiful souls. And I really don't have any more words. It was just the most heart-moving moment to be in the company of two amazing artists who love what they do. But it felt like I don't know, we captured something special that night, like really special that night. So that's my little wee moment that's touched me, that will last with me forever. Thank you so much for spending a few quiet moments with me. Until next Tuesday, keep noticing the beauty, hold space for the moments that matter. And don't forget, your story is worth capturing. With love from my heart to yours, Joy.